What up, y'all? So I wanted to do a game review that I just finished with Scars Above, and I gotta admit, I wasn't sure what the game was gonna be. I just kind of bought it when it was on sale, and it did turn out being pretty fun. I actually did like the game style. I liked the story of it. It felt loose. It felt like the whole game as a whole felt cool. I like the way how they did their gun setups, where it was like a frozen gun, a poison gun, a flame gun, and the electric gun. And then they had the elements on different enemies. If you use those certain ones on them and you hit, they did additional damage. Like, I like the design of that. They did a good job of putting creative ways of killing, and then they also made the game also pretty challenging in its regard. Even when I was just playing the mid-leveled, they did a good job of adding a lot of challenge to it and make it where you had to really think and really figure out what's going on. And the story of the enemy just pretty much going and killing off a bunch of people as an artificial intelligence, trying to match the DNAs and get the perfect strategy that his predecessor that created him was working on to develop. Like, it did do a good job of telling the story. It did a good job of adding on the old alien species linked to your lead character and all that. I think they did a fairly decent job of story building and storytelling. Now, some downsides that I had with it was the experience level. It shoots up incredibly quick, where it's hard to really win your early fights. But then once you get to the mid-game range, it really became and swung in the opposite direction, where then all of the fights became really, really easy. Like, you would figure the last fight would be the hardest fight, and realistically, my two hardest fights were at the beginning of the game, when I was dealing with the alpha, and I had no weapons to beat it, and had no clips to beat it, and I was only like level 1, where they made it complicated as hell. And then the second fight against the I forget the name of what they actually called it, but I'll just say the Scorpion. That fight was even complicated, where I actually had to look up how to do it, because it wasn't really super specific. But even that one was really, really challenging. And then once you get to the end of it, the last few hard enemies, they were real easy to beat. They weren't super complicated. They had a lot of health, but once you were maxed out leveled, it was easy. So I kind of feel the end game of it was kind of a letdown, because it just felt too simple. There wasn't much of a challenge and skill level you needed. You actually needed to have more skill level at the beginning than at the end, which is usually not the case. But it didn't take away from the game. It didn't at all. It was still fun. But another thing, though, that kind of was disappointing was the game was short, and the skill levels I was able to get maxed out probably a good 2 hours before beating the game, and I still had 4 additional points that I couldn't end up using. It was just stuck on my screen as a purple 4 points to use, but you couldn't use it. So I kind of wish that if they had that continue upgrade, maybe it upgraded your health, or you could use it to upgrade your health, or do a little bit of different things like that. Or maybe being able to upgrade a skill that you like using. Like, for me, once I got a hold of the slowing down gadget, I liked using that slowdown gadget. So for me, I would have been using that more if I could have upgraded that with like the skill points left over. But all in all, the storyline I really liked. The skills, I did like. The skills themselves and the gun skill stuff, I liked. But the only things that kind of disappointed me was the game was a little short. You could beat it very quick. You could beat it within, I think, like 6 hours. Yeah, or even less if you were speed running. But all in all, I'd say the game was fun. I'll give it a 7 out of 10 because I do feel like the game getting easier as the game went on kind of was a letdown, and the game being kind of short was somewhat of a letdown. I kind of wish they could have extended it a little bit, maybe add in a little bit more of a story before getting there. But all in all, I'd give it a solid 7 out of 10, maybe a 7.5 out of 10. The game is fun, but I don't know if it has a lot of replay value. So if you're playing it the first time, you might not end up wanting to play it again for a while because it's not much extra you could have done. But let me know what y'all think, and have a great day. Later.